Hey guys, Tarekis here. Wanted to do a quick video on the Flicker Strike build, like talk about a few things people have been asking frequently, and just kind of info dump a bit to you guys that are playing it. First and foremost, I never really mentioned this anywhere, but the descriptions in the YouTube videos, you can join me either on YouTube or on Twitch for my stream. I'm just back from vacation. I will be streaming every other day or something, whenever I have time. You can come there and ask some questions, and you can join the Discord, where you can ask questions as well, but please keep it to actually useful questions and not those that have been asked frequently and thus have been answered in the FAQ and in the build section already. That's that. And I'm going to talk about content to run with Flickr, like what feels good, what feels bad. We're going to talk about regexes, filters, and maps. And we're going to talk about aspirational build versions, like how far can you push the build, what can you achieve with like multi-mirror investments. All right, we're going to start with content to run. So this isn't specific to this Flickr build, mine. Um, it is specific to Flickr itself. So if you were running a Flickr Slayer, this would be kind of the same. This build just is tanky on top of everything, and that's just it. What feels good running Flickr is if you have a lot of pack size that is puddled together and is either in a straight line where you can move naturally across a space by flickering, so holding down right click, or where you are in one specific spot and you stop. Like you don't need to move, you are just like stationary there, and you hold down right click. Stationary, a lot of builds can do, like just AoE around your character, but moving quickly through like a long chain of mob packs, that is something very few skills can do. So what feels good is if you just do things like boss rush. So for example, this is one boss rush Atlas tree I'm doing, or have been doing in the past, with destructive play. And you can like zoom through the map and still kill a lot of the mobs that are in the map, and those will count for destructive play specifically. So you have a lot of clear, and still you come quickly to the boss. It's not exactly boss rushing, as in, let's say, traditional boss rushing where you try to do this in 30 seconds. It takes like 2 minutes or something to full clear the map, and you still like move along very smoothly. And you do this essentially by doing layouts that are just good for this. So atoll it has like one looping thing, and that is really nice to move along. Same with strand down here. That is also pretty good. This is even more linear, so just one straight line and that's it. Same with beach. Beach is also pretty good. These just feel good to move along, so if you do these will feel nice. Um, then there's also the puddled things, something like ultimatum, for example. This will just, as long as it's not stone circles, will feel pretty good because you just are stuck in this one space. You can face tank everything that's thrown at you, and you will just move around and kill everything. That's it essentially. Same with Simulacrum. Simulacrum, same principle. You're in this confined space and you just move along the Simulacrum, and because the build is tanky, you can also tank everything. Theoretically, For like the linear moving thing, you could also have abysses. If the rewards weren't bad, it would be cool to run. Like it feels good to run because you will just move along the abyss with the monster spawning. Speaking of monster spawning and moving along, we come to what is not good to run on Flickr, specifically Blight. This is the worst thing you can do on Flickr because you have to defend the single node. Same with these petrified amber ore nodes, the trees where like 3 spawners are outside or surrounding the tree, and you have to defend it. That will not work very well with Flickr because you will just end up going to the spawner. So you will follow the mobs to the spawner and then you're stuck there. But you're actually supposed to be near the thing you want to defend, so that feels really bad. And anything that like stretches out will also feel pretty bad. Some people like Legion with Flickr. I totally disagree. I think it feels really bad because you end up stuck in one corner, and you should be moving like when you're in the top left, and you should go to the bottom right to clear the entire Legion encounter. You have to first manually walk down there or leap slam down there, and then you can continue flickering. Doesn't feel really good. It's not really smooth. Yeah, not that nice IMO. Same with things like Breach, where there's just yeah, a lot of mobs spawning in a huge area, and you get stuck at these corners essentially, and you have to move so you can come into the range of a new mob pack. Um, Quite contrary to breaches, breach stones are very easy to run. You literally have to press right click most of the time because the mobs will then move to you, and you will naturally just continue moving, and you will never have to press your move at any time. Not at all. Same with safe houses when you run where's Yun? When you run Yun, and you go to one of the safe houses and you just whoosh through the entire safe house. That's it. So combining doing damage and moving feels really good. That's essentially what feels good and what feels bad. I already talked very briefly about this. Some people have been asking, what do I do? What are my strats that I run? This is the mid-tier investment strat I run at the start of the league usually. This is Guardian rotations with 8 mod corrupted Guardian maps, and that just farms these invitations and the bosses along with harvest in there. So what you do in these, you go in, you find the harvest, you do the harvest, you do the rest of the map, so you just kind of flicker along until you're at the boss, you kill the boss, you do the next map until you finish the invitation. I'll have a link down below. And also ambush T17. So this has been done 100,000 times before. This isn't anything new. There's been a lot of talk about ambush in tier 17s. This is what I run when I run ambush tier 17s. This is the cheap version, so not with the containment scarabs, but it's still pretty decent. I kind of like it since I can now ignore most tier 17 mods. Personally, I don't really like tier 17s because you have to roll the maps for like very specific modifiers usually, which is annoying, but the stronger your build gets, the more you can ignore. Also, the FAP gun unique strategy, so just using Titanic scarabs to just make uniques as rewarding and as rippy and as tanky as possible. These are insane, but the build can usually do them. Not feeling like it is very very good at it. It can do it, but yeah, this is extremely hard content. And just for comparison, I have been running these with my current config. I can also link a PoB of my current character, and with this gear, I can Facetank. I can literally AFK in Feared Velos maps. So if I still have one of those lying around, yeah, these. So Tormented Spirits. So contains Feared. No travel skills. Monsters can only be damaged within 2 meters of player. That is, well, with Flicker, doesn't matter. And rare and unique monsters are possessed by 3 to 4. So Ghosted with 3 to 4 Tormented Spirits, Feared Velos maps. This is obviously for a horrid reward, and this isn't the worst config you can get, but you can face tank these, you can AFK these if you go up to the investment I'm at. The only thing that is still a bit scary is if you happen to stack degens on the bottom, because degens are still bad. I can face tank those, but this strategy still one-shots me sometimes because the modifiers, you're just making the mobs do 12, 20 times the damage they usually do, and that is just, yeah, pretty fucked. Alright. That's just what you can do with endgame strats like the Falcon Unique strat or doing Veldos maps, so that is a possibility. But you need to be pretty invested for those. Alright, that's it essentially for maps and what content to run on Flickr. And we're gonna go about onto filters and regexes. For filters, I'm just gonna quickly recommend NeverSync. So the prefix here on these is NS for NeverSync, and I'm personally using a slightly and just really slightly modified version of the uber strict configuration, and you can just go to FilterBlade. That is a site where you can choose a predefined configuration of like what strictness you want, and then you adjust like personally, like if you want to display some things that aren't displayed, or you would like to hide some things. For example, I always hide haste contracts. I don't do haste ever. I don't like that. I don't pick up contracts. Just no, I wouldn't even sell them. So they're not in my filter. That's it. You can do those as these changes as well on FilterBlade. Pretty cool thing. Um, all right, that's it for filters, and we're doing regexes, which is a more interesting topic for most, I think. We have a few regexes ready. These are on the Discord server, and I will also put them in the description here on this video, as well as show you how to actually do them yourself. So there's sites that allow you to configure your own regexes. So let me just pull that up real quick. Just 1 second. I must have closed it. Yeah, I have closed it. Technical issue right here. And all right. So here we go. This is PoE.re. This is one of the, or this is like the status quo that you. It seems that just, yeah, this. It seems the site just broke because it doesn't calculate the filters anymore. That's cool. That obviously happens now. Well. Um, Anyways, what you can do on this site, you like choose the things you do not want. Players have whatever to minus max resistance, for example, or crit multiplier, and then it calculates a regex that goes up to 50 characters, which you can filter your maps with. On the forum post, I have all the so tier 17s, all the tier 17 mods that are problematic or really rough. And also the tier 16s. Where exactly have I put that? Ah, right. Okay. If I could read, I could find it. And these three are the really bad ones you would not want. Um, Especially a Steel Frenzy charges is absolutely unbelievably annoying. The other two are just bricking one of your defense layers each, so not really good to run unless you don't care about dying or potentially bricking your map. So, for example, if you wanted to not just copy one of my regexes, but do your own, you can, for example, just say, yeah, okay, I don't want steel. So, for example, we're saying tier 17s aren't relevant for you. You go ahead, you do this, cannot steal. You do less armor, and you do cannot be leached from. So this is the exact regex that will be down in the description. This is the tier 16 regex. Everything else we don't care about. Everything else you can just ignore. Elemental reflect because you have, or if you have the level 5 or higher awakened elemental damage with attacks. Yeah. Um, then your flicker doesn't reflect elemental damage anymore, and everything else is just, yeah, it's a bit rippy, or it disables a portion of your build, but the build is still strong enough to do everything. So, for example, if you don't care about like it being a bit rippy, this is literally your regex. So 99% of all maps will just pass this regex. Done. You can run it. And if you, for example, if you don't have elemental damage with attacks level 5 or higher, you can add this one. So that is how you construct your regex. That is that. And then there is also exile.re. This has emerged like a few days ago, really. This is very, very fresh. But the concept is pretty cool because it allows you to both shorten your regexes, so they will allow you to include more mods before you reach the 50 length limit. So, for example, if you were to filter for both elemental and physical damage reflection, it is now shorter because you don't want reflection, and it doesn't matter if it's elemental or physical, so it can search for combinations and just optimize the regex that way. It also is supposed to um, be able to import different regexes. So if you go ahead and you take one of my regexes, so we're gonna take the one I just generated, and we import this, it will now some are not like detected correctly, but some are like cannot be leached from, and steel is correct. So this is still experimental, and I'm really hoping that this will work into future because this is huge if it works. So keep a lookout on this side as well. Pretty damn cool if that will work. That is really good for regexes. All right, that's it for regexes and filters. Everything will be in the description. And now we're gonna go to the last point, which is aspirational gear. Essentially, from like the min-max or high-end version of my PoB, you can go in two directions essentially. One is going full tank, and the other is going full DPS essentially. And you can get close to 100 million DPS with my build if you stay on the route that is on the min-max. So we can go to PoB right here. We go to my, if it would load, go to my PoB, we go to min-max, and you just throw in here, let's go ring 1, mirror service ring, and Caladra's Touch, or you can do this is an absolutely insane item. Um, this is like the best precursor that can exist, so it's pretty insane if you get this one. But yeah, if you get a precursor like this, so +1 frenzy charge, and then increased damage or at least increased attack and cast speed per frenzy charge, the increased damage per frenzy charge is just pretty huge. And then you collateral touch on the other ring. You have to fix your resistances and whatnot possibly. But this is huge DPS. It costs you some energy shield, but honestly, even this 13k energy shield, 108 DPS, pretty fucking huge, I'd say. This is like how you can push the DPS version of my build, and then there's also the Mageblood versions of the build. We have a 4 aura and a 5 aura. 5 aura is pretty complicated to build. That's what I'm currently working on. And that will like elevate your max hit to pretty high numbers. So this is normal shaper config, nothing special. Like you could do a Ciri Flame Blast and put this up to think that's 220,000. This is the correct one. That puts your EHP to 2 million. So this is what a double Flame Blast from a Ciri does in a Feared Veldos map. So a Feared Veldos map is still very, very good to tank with this version. So we are just moving that off here. And that is just average. That is how tanky you are with this build. You can still keep quite a lot of the damage, but just moving off to the, let's just undo our changes here, go back in to the min-max version, and the min-max version will still have more DPS than the Uber tank version. So this sacrifices a bit of, or quite a bit of DPS, and gains a lot of tankiness though. So we are at 120k Fizzmax and Minmax is at 41. So 3 times as tanky if you just look at Fizzmax. If you look at, for example, Cold Max, we are at 100k, and here we're at 500 and 700 for fire. Or even if you just let's just say just the 4 aura, it's still 3 times, I think, 3 to 4 times, yeah, something like that, and like 2.5 times on the fizz. So what you do on these is just melding, cold res stacking. So Sapphire with Mage Blood increases your cold res. We have Aegis Aurora for cold res. We have on the tree we have 1 cold res, and I'm also taking a cold res or res on the Voice of the Storm. Usually you get 89%, which is still pretty huge. But yeah, if you get a corruption here, pretty good. Then you just fix a lot of things with the flasks. So we're losing things like Bottle Faith and Vessel of Windcar. So these are DPS losses, but you will gain a lot of tankiness. We're also taking Shock Avoid here, so that replaces the interaction of Darkest Enthroned with 50% Shock Avoid. So this is just 100% Shock Avoid from Mage Blood. With some Delirious monsters, you can sometimes be frozen, so it is still kind of possible, but 99% you are still ailment immune. So that is essentially how you can push the Uber tank version of mine. This is like with the items you have in the 5 aura. This is like the highest you can get. This is using in the helmet. You'll be losing using Flesh and Stone, Discipline, Enlighten, Grace, and by doing a specific +5 aura helmet, we can just about get away with enough mana to run 5 auras. So Grace, Discipline, Flesh and Stone, Then we also have, where is it? Arctic Armor and Clarity for what we want in the Watcher's Eye here. So we're taking maximum mana as energy shield, block spell damage, and or you can also do things like clarity recoup. So mana, where is it? Yeah, damage taken gain is mana. This is recoup. It's just differently worded. Recouped as mana. This is also is pretty nice. It's just another way to get mana in no region maps. So that is that for my version. And then there's also a version that is just pure DPS. I have PoBs imported here, and I'll share them in the description again. There's Crit, Flicker Strike of Power. These are made by Mogling. Um, and they also have insane. This is the I think this is the character he's running. This says like 1 week ago or something. This is the config he sent me. And as you can see, these are insane max hits. And he also has very high damage still. And he does a lot of that by Tempered War and Instacking specifically. Whereas Int here, he messaged me last. He was at 2.9k intelligence now. This is at 2.6, so obviously it's better now in its current state. But this is the last config I have, and this utilizes crit scaling, and Flicker Strike of Power. As you can see, it's no longer Flicker Strike, it's Flicker Strike of Power. And we no longer go down. It's no longer an armor build, it's an evasion build, and it just works on a few different things. It is pretty good. And it is also able to scale way higher in damage. This is another PoB I will be sharing. This is by one of my community members. This is Mugen, who swapped to Mogling's Flicker, and he just tweaked a few things. He has a way lesser investment. That's also why his Fizzmax isn't just as good, and his elemental hits are quite a bit lower. But still, pretty damn sick. Also invested a lot. Multi-mirrored here as well. And these are pretty sick builds as well. So it goes up to 170 here. Last, I think he he cracked 200 million DPS. And these are so same build concept, just a few different things, and more DPS focused and less focused on tank as in the other PoB. So you can go even higher with the DPS. Attack rate is still pretty good. 8.79 will feel very fine. So just all round good build as well. If you want to swap out and go to a different route, this one is good as well. Alright, that's been it really. That's all the things I wanted to share with you guys. And yeah, hope you're enjoying the build, and see you soon. Cheerio!